Namaste children, I am your economic teacher Rupal Prajapati. Let's learn chapter 1, standard 10, development. Now, what is development? Simple meaning we are taking as development, it means growing. But actually development has a vast and broad meaning, where growing have a very small or narrow meaning. Grow, it means just growing. It means quantity increase. But when we are talking about development, it's quantity plus quality. If a child is growing, it means numbers are increasing. But with that, he should have a good mental and physical health. That is called development. So, let's learn the meaning of development. What is the meaning of development? Improvement in human welfare, quality life, social well-being, satisfying the population needs and wants. Let's understand this definition. Human welfare, it means all people should get all the facilities. Now, when we are talking about quality life, it means a simple three things are people required to live: the home, shelter, food and clothes. But today's date, if we talk about the quality life, beyond that we require electricity facilities, education, and today you have all seen that COVID-19. By this we can understand with these 3 or 4 things we require the health facilities is very much important for us. Because without these facilities, it's not possible to us to live a life. That is included in the quality life. Social well-being. Socially all are equal and all should get all the facilities. And satisfying the population needs and want. Whatever they need, whatever their want is that we should satisfy. Then it's called a development. Let's understand in the aspect of India, what is the meaning of development in India. So in India, as we are knowing, different kind of people are there. So different people have different development goals. It means in India, there is a large number of inequalities. Only in Indian economy, only 6% people have more than 80% GDP rate. So many people are rich, but the large number of people are poor. So there is a big inequality in the India because resources are not allocated properly. So by this we can understand different people have a different need. Let's again take the example of COVID-19, where we are talking about population needs and wants. Some poor people, labor, workers who stuck in different state or different areas. What is the need today? To go to home or to want their food. Only 2 things they require, nothing else. What they need? Home, food and water. Right? If government gives them transport facility or any kind of facility, they can reach to their home and they require that food facility and water. Still, with the hungry stomach, they don't require the sales facilities because still today they require the food. But when next part, when we are talking about rich people, what they require? All the facilities, all the luxurious goods should be available at their doorstep. Today, what they require? They require good health facilities as well as they require a vaccine for the virus. If next time this kind of things happen, what they will do? They are asking for the government's all luxurious thing. So this is the vast difference between 2 types of people in India. Not only India, any developing or underdeveloped country where resources are not allocated properly. So for that, we should require to allocate the resources properly. Because a poor people need is only a food, water, shelter and clothing. But other people require a good transport facilities, a good market, an online market, luxurious thing. They should have a car, they should have an air, right? In the house, all the facilities should be there, all required by the rich people. Now, one more question come in our mind. It means I have all the luxurious thing, whatever I say. So can I be happy? Or this is the need of the people? No. The people only don't need a material thing. Material things never give us satisfaction. Some sort of satisfaction we can get by material things, but with that, a human being required a love in the society. They required respect. They required equal treatment. Right? They required all the rights. So with that they can. So that's why it is said, money can't buy all the things. If you can't get a love, respect, care, understanding, so you can't survive in the human society. So it is said that we require some material things as well as some emotional thing to live in one society. Right? So different people have a different need. Even happiness is more important to live a life. So happiness is also required. If you're not happy, you can't do any kind of work. So all these things are also required to live a healthy and happy life. Now we all understand how resources are located, how the people are living, what are their goals. Different people have different goals. Just like if I am a businessman or I am an owner of industry, what I require, there should be maximum profit from my production. If I am a laborer, I require, what is my goal? I can get good earning or good wages or on time wages. If I am a beggar, what I required, I need a food on the time. So different people have different kinds of goals. Now next point is comparison between their states and countries. Now how we can compare the state and countries? For that, different organization, international organization and institution have different criteria. Let's first learn about the criteria given by the World Bank. World Bank follow one criteria that is called per capita income. We call it average income of the people of any country. See, PCI, it means per capita income, average income of a people. How we get it? When we divide national income by total population, we will get the per capita income. So World Bank can compare different countries with other countries as well as different state with other state by per capita income. So whatever my country's income is that, divided by the total population, we will get the per capita income. This is the criteria used by World Bank to calculate, to compare the different countries. But if we see according to developing countries or underdeveloped countries, these criteria not work properly. Why? Because this is a vast number of inequality. Resources are not allocated properly. We are knowing that Ambanis have crores of rupees and poor people have nothing in their hand. But when we are making the average, they all are equal in this calculation. So that's why this will not work in the proper comparison of the state and countries. Let's understand the next criteria for comparison between state and countries, that is by UNDP. It means United Nations Development Program. They uses the criteria, it's called Human Development Index. In that we can consider three things as human development, that is first is health, next is knowledge and third is standard of living. In standard of living we consider per capita income, because the person income is higher, the standard of living is higher. Let's start with your health. Health is very much important for any person to contribute in the development of the country as well as itself, because human is a big resources, we are knowing that, because human is that who can use other resources and make that usable. So that's why to going through a development process, health is very much important. Now for health, government started some scheme facilities. We have the public health centers, sub centers, hospital, all facilities are given. But how we can calculate it? So health we can do IM, infant mortality rate. If the country's infant mortality rate is less, then its health is better, we can consider. Now what is infant mortality rate? Infant mortality rate, it means the per 1,000 children. The children who are died before completing 1 year. Understand that. The children who born and before completing 1 year, if they died, that is called infant mortality rate. Today's date, if we see that 33 children are died per 1,000 before completing the 1 year. So this is also big issues. Many mothers are dying at the time of giving the birth to the children. So this is lack of health facilities. What is the next? In that we should require death rate. If death rate is lower, it means they have a good health facilities. Death rate, it means the person who are dying every fiscal year in per 1,000 people because lack of health facilities. So maximum people are dying. If death rate is lower, it means we have a good health facilities, right? So by this, government is providing some facilities, just like today government give the vaccination free to the children. Government provides some nutritious food to the mothers who are giving the born babies, right? As well as they have started Anganwadis. Even in the school they have started midday meal. By that people can get nutritious food. And with that, today if we see, government started ration shop public distribution system. By that they are giving a rice, a wheat, a dal, this kind of food to the people in very low cost, so people can get a nutritious food and they can live a healthy life and they can part in the development process. Next is knowledge. Now knowledge, it means how the people can get the knowledge. The one thing is education. By education we can get the knowledge. But how we can get the education? By the schools. So according to education policy 1986, government gave 6 to 14 year children free and compulsory education. Listen it carefully. According to education policy, 6 to 14 year children have free and compulsory education, that is called primary education as well as elementary education. With that they are providing them midday meal to give the good health to these children. Now what is literacy rate? Literacy rate, it not means that person should have any degree, they should pass 10, 12 or graduation. No, nothing like that. Literacy rate, it means a person should read and write any language. In aspect of India we can see read and write any one language, because there are more than 500 languages spoken in India. So they should read and write any one language, that is called literacy rate. India's literacy rate is 74%, 74.6%. Still we are lagging behind. It should be more than 80 and 90. Every children should get the education so they can be the part of development. With that, to calculate this literacy rate, we should know other aspects just like GER, gross enrollment ratio. It means the children age of more than 7 years. Look at here and understand. The children more than 7 years who are enrolling their name in the school. That is called gross enrollment ratio. The children more than age of 7 years, right, who are enrolling their name in the school, that is called gross enrollment ratio. Next is, if enrollment is done but is not, government is not stopped that, we should take the attendance daily to the children. In your school also teachers are taking the attendance. NAR, need attendance ratio, means children get the admission, they enroll their name in the school, but if they are attending the school regularly or not, that is also very much important. So that's why we are calculating need attendance ratio, means after enrollment the attendance is very much important. So the children of age group of more than 7 to 8 year, right, in comparison to that age group children who are attending the school, that is called need attendance ratio, right. Next is, we are knowing we live in India and maximum people are belong to a poor class, and maximum means today's day if we calculate or according to statistical data, if we see 40 to 50% people are there who are working as a labor or working as a nomads. For work they are migrates from one area to another area. So that's why because of this thing many children left the school. So that's why we have a gross dropout ratio. It means the children who left the school before completing elementary education. Elementary education, it means standard 1 to 8. This is elementary education. If they drop the school before this, right, so we calculate gross dropout ratio. So today government and as well as by seeing statistical data, we are extend this group and up to secondary and higher secondary also we are taking the gross dropout ratio. Because if children drop the school before completing secondary or higher secondary education, it is very big loss for the country. Because as Professor Samsky say, if children completed a primary education, he can participate in the production 40%, only 40%. If he completed his matriculation it means higher secondary education, he can participate in the production 100%. What I am talking? Primary, it means you can participate only 40%. Means one day a person is making 100 marker pen. With the higher education, a person don't have education or only primary education, he can able to produce only 40 marker. But he has a higher education, is then more than higher secondary education, he can produce 300%. Means he can within a same time with same labor force he can produce 300 markers. Is said by Professor Samsky. So we have to understand that every children or every child of India should complete his education. So by this country is growing and they developing the literacy rate as well as education rate, and by that we are giving them knowledge also. And the last point is standard of living. Standard of living increasing when the per capita income is increasing. When we have an income in our hand, we can increase it day by day. So in development, this is very important point, Human Development Index. In that today India's rank is 129th. So we are lacking behind. If we want to grow up in that, we should calculate health, knowledge and standard of living. We can divide in any other three aspects just like a literacy rate. Next is life expectancy. Now what is life expectancy? Life expectancy means a lifespan of a person. A person living a life from birth to how much year he can live. That is called life expectancy. And third one is per capita income. Right? This is all about the development. We should understand the concept and meaning of development, how we can compare, how different people have different goals. So country like India should have a mixed goals. Why mixed goal? We should produce a luxurious good. We should go for a good production, good marketable surplus. With that, we can give unnecessary things to the people, poor people for the social welfare. That's why we can call India as a mixed economy. India is called mixed economy because we have capitalism as well as the socialism, where we can earn from the companies, the industries, and afterwards some things or some needful things we are providing to people. That's why Gandhiji said there is enough resources for the need of the people, not for the greed of the people. So whatever resources you have, you have to share to the others, you provide to the others, and with that our country will develop. Thank you.